Intel report says lab leak is now considered a possibility by every U.S. intelligence agency. Remember at first they said it wasn't a possibility? These are the same intelligence agencies, though, that said that Hunter Biden laptop was Russian disinformation. So take it as what you will. Y'all know I've been reporting on this since its inception back on my old channel when I was talking about this lab leak stuff, and that's when I blew up from my old channel, and YouTube had to slow me down by deleting my channel when I started to grow, because I was, again, one of the first people to report on this whole lab leak stuff. But now it seems like the intelligence community is finally catching up with something I've been saying for years now. But before we get started, go ahead and hit that like button, share this out so we can get this information out there. Subscribe if you're not already a subscriber, and hit that alarm bell so you know when I'm putting out new stuff. Also, check out my link tree in the description. It has a link to my Patreon where I talk about things I can't talk about here. There's also a link to my Instagram and my merch store. Also, check out jjthepsychotherapist.com for news as well. All right, let's talk about this news. After blowing past his congressionally mandated deadline, the Biden administration released a declassified portion of its report on the origins of COVID-19 on Friday evening, revealing that, quote, all U.S. agencies now believe that the pandemic may have started in a laboratory. My question is, why did he hold this information for so long? Well, I say it every time. It seems like I say it every time when I'm talking about Biden and China. We know that Biden is a puppet, and China is the puppet masters, it's the puppeteers. But the report from the Office of the Director of National Intelligence, written as a result of COVID-19 Origin Act of 2023, laid out what the intelligence community knows regarding China's now infamous Wuhan Institute of Virology, its capabilities, and the actions of its scientists. Though there was much anticipation for the report, it fails to it forms to allude to much of new information, but states that all intel agencies continue to consider both a natural and laboratory-associated origin theory. The declassified report states that several scientists who work on animal respiratory viruses at the Wuhan Institute fell sick with symptoms, quote, consistent with but not diagnostic of COVID-19 in the fall of 2019. The report also identified a lack of biosafety measures being taken by the staff prior to the pandemic in handling of SARS-like coronaviruses, and therefore increasing their risk for accidental exposure to viruses. Now, this is something I reported a long time ago, that people associated with the Wuhan Institute of Virology had symptoms that was similar to COVID-19. This is old news. This is not anything new, but our government is finally admitting this fact. But lawmakers have long derided China for hindering investigations into the origins of COVID-19. The report came on the heels of revelations that Ben Hu, a scientist who worked on bat coronaviruses at the Wuhan Institute, was one of the first people to fall sick with what is now believed to be COVID-19. Both Hu and his boss, Shi Zhengli, who ran the bat coronavirus lab at the Institute, adamantly denied Hu was sick in late 2019 and that their lab contributed to the COVID outbreak seen in Wuhan in late 2019. Quote, I swear with my life, the virus has nothing to do with the lab, Zhengli said on Chinese social media shortly after the virus emerged in the United States. Yeah, like, we're really going to believe someone that works for the CCP. Well, SARS-like coronavirus experiments were taking place as early as January 2019 in the labs at Wuhan Institute that were not ranked among their most secure, the report indicated. There were also a shortage of apparently trained personnel on biocontaminant protocols. Months after the coronavirus first emerged, the Wuhan Institute's high contaminant laboratories were found to have aging equipment, a lack of disinfectant, and a lackluster ventilation system. The COVID-19 virus was isolated by scientists at the Wuhan Institute in December 2019, roughly a month before the virus hit the United States. The integrity of China's disease control agency has been placed into question by the National Institute of Health as was reported earlier this month by the Washington Free Beacon. And in 2019, the United States funded research integrity training for scientists at China's Center for Disease Control and other Chinese research institutions, citing concerns over, quote, research misconduct, inadequate ethical review, and publication fraud. Just crazy. Though the report states that almost all intelligence agencies agreed the virus was not engineered, the report admitted that some scientists at the Wuhan Institute did genetically engineer coronaviruses and that the techniques used made it difficult to detect intentional changes. But the report says that only most of the intelligence agencies were of the consensus that the virus was not laboratory adapted. I mean, it's crazy though, because like they just happen to be working on the same disease that happened to spread in that area originally. Do people really believe that was just a coincidence? I mean, that's just you are an idiot if you believe that. But the report also confirms the presence of Chinese military scientists at the Wuhan Institute and indicated that some of the research conducted by Chinese military and civilian scientists there included work with coronaviruses. It chronicles a number of what-if scenarios that leave the door open to the idea that COVID started in a lab and potentially by Chinese military for bioweapon or national defense purposes. Classified portions of the report were not released publicly. What do they have classified? What are they hiding from the American people? And we know why this virus was intentionally created. It was intentionally created to destroy any chances of President Trump of being reelected. That's why this virus was created. China was sick and tired of Trump and his policies. His trade policies was hurting China. He was actually standing up against China, so China had to do something about it. That's basically what happened. And the intel community knows this, and they're hiding this. But let me know what you think. Leave your comments down below. Like, share, and subscribe. And check out jjthepsychotherapist.com for the latest in news. Until next time, peace.